What's going on?
How you doing, man? Where you from? You're in Michigan somewhere?
I'm in Detroit.
You in Detroit?
You see?
Damn, what kind of strap you got?
9mm.
9mm.
Tumble upon impact rounds. They twirl through the body instead of going through.
Damn, okay. Honor brought up the infamous quote, "Double suicide or it wasn't love," that's on the back of Old Tyrant shirts and on Tyrant tote bags. And Sean Kilpatrick here with me, probably the oldest practitioner in what is known as alt-lit, as far as I know. You can correct me on that. But going back, probably before the internet was gone?
Well, I've never experienced one end of benefits in the entailment of her name. But summoning me from the crypt, sockless, was a lopped-off flippancy you'll both be mogged for in hell, where your couch's footprints will sizzle, hexed with an upward inflection. Many a theosophist has curled around the frothy waist inside that regrettable tote I authored. All in good fun. Even if the toil of obtaining any yes to mate outstrips a young lady's frustration at being finagled into it, her overall grace and beauty may provide the mirror a modicum of compensation. Quite the frilly-sheeted substratum of context-free polish remover extracting the clit from my wind in these scrolled-through times. These consent-heavy books shat right out the Happy Meal. Let the writer get married for 40 nut-shuddering years, kept like a liberal pet from his flesh. No frame around the object. Instincts contorted into a settlement. He went sentimental. He chose the multi-horded zombie's bravery to bite. Everyone does as much. But the arrogance, the self-helpist muse refusal, the megalomaniacal hustle bait, your cock-in-hand acolytes charmed by coke, corporate subversions of a subversion, or tepid transgressions flipped trad. Brought to you by secretarial odiousness. Save the risk-free and grit-free kegels for the page. Will her security detail let me stop her for her autograph?
Oh man, you raving about pussy, but I'm like, what about how AI, artificial intelligence, gonna be flapping in your wind, nigga? How poetry not anything above two words juxtaposed, like phosphorescent flower. On that fucking article, concrete noun, preposition, adjective, abstract noun, basically every motherfucking verse and shit. Christian Bach conceptualism shit. The tanks of blank glee rolling over a melon of doom in MS-DOS. No bars will remain in our brain.
Yeah, but to what degree, and by which method of scarification does the machine discern its taste and arrangement?
Bitch, a preference can be motherfucking zeroed in on with whatever data the box been fed.
Is the machine's apparatus of distinction just stochastic, or so elastic a mimicked blood that it can become as innate as what created it?
Maybe the stretch marks of its goddamn programmers will be sufficient to replace us, dog.
Curse you, Conroe. You're too negative. The machine will always be specter before spectator. And this is why it will not invalidate us. Because code is only the ghost of what sparked us into compunction. The machine knows no ugliness, even whilst formulating it. Nothing like what I get from something as cheap as my reflection.
What you feel sorry about, all in your feelings like Shorty's lost her cherry?
Remember the simpleton assemblage of an anthology chop job experiment titled For Godot? No Dover beach sifted through its confines. I got your dime square, my sleek anthroposophist. Dime square, I'm somehow apprised. Dime goes in the machine. Gumball comes out chewed. I wipe myself with the algorithm. The alt-lit catch-all knows me not. They can save an inch of ironic torque for their sub-tweets, never producing a piece better than the insult. Now that cringe means every tinge of effort that isn't flat affectation and enforced earnestness, or girls fresh from adolescence ASMR ring. Unrequited is the operative word here. Gen Xers hated me, and I loved them. Now the right wing hates me while I hate the left. The second I erased any potential future with a woman, I never hated one again. Romantically, that is. Life is too lymphatic a smear campaign.
Riff Raff was angry about that. That's right. That's right. Dang. And then were you out in New York? Did you know Gian personally or just through the internet?
We met one time. I went to New York. I could afford to go to New York one time.
Yeah.
I painted a house. And then, in 2015, I went to New York and stayed at Gian's while he stayed at that fashion producer boyfriends of his.
Okay. Over on 46th Street?
Yes. Hell's Kitchen, or whatever yuppie name they have for it now.
Yeah. Mm.
In the early days of HTML Giant, he was doing a live stream, a very early live stream.
Wow.
He was taking questions from people, right?
Mm.
I don't even know the tech of this. This is before live streams were popular.
Wow.
Nevertheless, this must have been 2010.
Okay.
Early live stream.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, he was asked by a participant in the chat why he doesn't publish more women.
Yeah.
His response, iconic genius that he was to hold his hand up into frame.
Yeah.
Spit into the palm of it. End of answer.
Wow.
Gen X brilliance.
I had no idea about this. Damn, that's real. That's real. Well, so it's not like you don't believe in anything. You do believe in art.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And your belief in it hasn't shaken.
Not yet, by God. I mean, a lot has tested it.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, look at it. Look at it now. When I was young, God damn it, when I was young, I came into art when the Gen X milieu was at the height of its irreverence.
Okay. When was this?
And it was some of the wildest, most fucked up art ever made into the mainstream.
Yeah.
And look at it now, God damn it. Since the 2010s.
Since the 2010s?
Yeah.
So this is like late aughts?
I'd say beginning in 2013 was the downfall.
Okay. And what do you think was some of the examples of the most while art making it to the mainstream?
Oh my God! I grew up watching Ren and Stimpy, Adventures of Pete and Pete. Tarantino was exploding across the cinema, and a bunch of imitations of him.
Yeah.
Joe Wenderoth sold 10,000 copies of Letters to Wendy's in poetry in the year 2000 or so.
Wow.
And this book includes a poem about him fucking a shake.
Fucking a snake?
Making love to a shake. A Wendy's shake.
Oh, fucking a Wendy's shake.
Yeah, putting his dick into the malt.
Goddamn.
And they sold 10,000 copies in 2000.
Wow.
Wenderoth is a genius.
Damn. I gotta look this up. I don't know about this.
Very Gen X, in a good way. Gen X is sort of shat the bed, but the best of them committed suicide anyway.
Yeah, you write about suicide a lot.
It's my only hope.
It's your only hope.
Good God.
Damn.
Not that I recommend it.
Okay.
It's not
I don't know that I agree with you on that, but what was that?
It's not an ideology. It's more of a feeling.
Okay. Do you have a lot of people who have that you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm wearing his shirt right now. It's my boy Jackson. He passed away.
I'm sorry to hear it.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I always was wary from a couple of your quotes. That quote, and then obviously the one that's your bio.
Not my best quote, I'd say.
Which neither of that. I only ever wrote to burn my fucking name into the ground.
Well, that's fun, but the suicide quote, I'd say, is a bit made for totes, perhaps.
Made for totes, yeah.
And I like the idea of the young ladies wearing me on their shoulder. I like this.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's very Romeo and Juliet, very Japanese. Otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't feel like engagement with any type of human connection is useful to art making, as you conceive of the ideal of art making.
I believe you should do it. I'm not making it a platform. What I mean is, one should spend their 20s with all their feelings on their sleeve.
Yeah.
And then they should stop.
Okay.
And then focus on their work.
Yeah. Was your artistic outlook always like this, or what were some most influential people to cultivate your vision?
When I was young, my God, the beats were the big thing.
Yeah, you say you encountered the beats in high school, huh?
I did, from a very young age.
Yeah.
And it gave me a false impression of what things would come. My God. It was a different world when they were around.
Right.
It was a different world in the 90s, for Christ's sake. And this is the world that I believed would lead me to have a possibility of a small living, not necessarily fame,
Yeah.
A small living, which is asking so much now, apparently, for me.
Yeah.
I've been fired from classrooms for no reason. Well, they look you up. You know what I'm saying? I'm very nice.
And what do they find?
My work.
Okay, you're writing.
And then I'm fired. I've had books dropped from presses.
You have?
All left and right.
What presses? No, you don't gotta say.
I guess it wouldn't matter. I'm trying to think of what the etiquette would be.
What was the reason?
Bad words.
From other poems that were online, or from tweets, or what?
Well, you know what? Alarmingly, it was bad words in the book. So apparently they hadn't read the fucking thing.
Yeah. People
very
like to talk about
illiterate
books
stuff
before
here.
they read it. Yeah, before they read it.
It maybe glossed over it and then accepted it. I don't know why. But nevertheless,
Yeah.
well, point being is that they really drew me out too. Here's another thing they like to do. They like to draw it out before Xing you out.
Okay.
Which didn't matter to me because I got nothing going on. But I don't appreciate the malevolence.
But do you think it's only HR editors who are trying to cancel people, or you think it's also alt-lit kids?
It's like a virus.
Because I feel like I got canceled by a bunch of your friends.
My friends.
Yeah.
Oh,
my former friends.
Were you canceled?
I mean, it seemed like an
What was the
attempt.
fallout of that?
It seemed pretty moral purity.
Wait, go over it. Wait, moral purity.
No, I'm just saying that, it's interesting. No, I don't need to get into all that, but
Well, we don't have to relitigate it, but
yeah.
nevertheless, I find any of that stuff above my pay grade, mostly. I don't like it.
And
but,
you're literate.
But,
you read.
What's it?
And you're literate. You read.
Oh, well, I try to, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
When my eyesight's working good.
Did you, were you curious about Honor's book at all, or no? It's too young.
Very young, very sexy stuff. Above my pay grade, perhaps, but I'd like to check it out.
Because, Gian was going to publish that book.
Right.
It's pretty wild, though. It's pretty wild.
Oh,
I almost feel like something's happening where, like, the literary publishers don't really know what they're doing, so then now they're kind of trying to reach out. They're trying to just follow the people a little bit.
Oh, that could be something.
Could be something, huh?
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see something change, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. What's your... yeah, go ahead.
I find it very despicable. Any kind of moral panicking,
Yeah.
right or left.
Yeah.
I find it very disgusting stuff.
Me too. Can't argue with you there.
This vendetta with Sam Pink, tertiary stage, that passed between either essay notwithstanding, is of no concern to an actually cancelled self-publisher, such as myself. I came to address the feat in question. The young ladies who run the post-CIA Paris Review would never enclose me above my pay grade, where you and Pink may war through ascendancy. Pink and I don't talk much. I suspect he finds my presence a faint and frivolous irritant, but we are old pals regardless, I insist. No man over 30 has friends, especially a writer. Friendly acquaintances will do. Riffing's far from my forte, but I have riffed a time or two with the great riffer of our era. I heart him against his will as I failed our prose collaboration eons back, snipping feebly around because I just learned a bit less about prose than I know now. We are bonded by Pantera lyrics, as I hope you, Conroe, and I shall one day bond over Kool Moe Dee, whose beef with LL Cool J was unjustly ignored. Pink don't care about centigraph mechanics, plain-style atticism, the aphoristic pensi simplosi, nor Lycian parallel construction and tautological repetition decelerated within the process of refactoring. The ton of cunt he rakes in necessitates no such introspection. Me, I like being cited. I doubt they got you how Shane Jones was got. Pink had more macro objection with your fuckboy, including the ever-nebulous voice and style accusation, which I am too stupid to litigate. Poltroonery, as a veiled thread somewhere may adjudicate. Faw, I say, and I repeat this to every writer. Don't force me to look into you. Fight Pink hand-to-hand, sir. Don't let him close the distance. He's trained. I think you're both humanitarian enough to find mutual respect post-bout. My enemies never flattered me with anything close to plagiarism, and I will afford them no sporting chance.
When I was 20 years old, I met this little diabetic girl. And she was a real piece of work.
Mm.
She was real mousy, but also very Slavic at the same time.
Okay, a
Real
combination
smart
mousy Slavic.
Very smart, very a deadly combination, by the way.
Deadly combination.
And she became my Beatrice.
Mm.
I began writing in full. I was trying to do screenplays before that.
Okay.
I became a literary writer because of this woman.
Mm.
In a way.
Yeah.
This film was my first preference.
Mm.
Before I was destroyed by women.
Okay.
And then, but anyway, all that to say, the Beatrice archetype, the Stefan George archetype of the uncomfortable obsession,
Yeah.
inappropriate obsession,
Yeah.
sick obsession. If a writer doesn't have that or hasn't experienced that,
Right.
why are they writing?
Right.
And Dante
And
was the top at that.
Dante was top of that. And what ended up happening with the mousy Slavic woman?
My God.
Did you guys have a relationship, or was it just a distant courtship?
She kept me at a she I didn't know this term at the time.
Yeah.
Friend zone.
She kept you in the friend zone. God
The
damn.
friend zone. My God, what a term. An orbiter. Remember they used to say that?
Okay. She kept
And
you as
I
an
was
orbiter.
an orbiter of hers.
Mm.
Grotesque. She would lift her shirt
Mm.
and poke a needle into her little tummy. Good
For
God.
diabetes.
For the diabetes, right? Insulin.
Right.
Very sexual.
Mm.
But,
Damn.
my God.
No cigar.
Cigar?
I said, but no cigar.
No cigar for me. Right. She teased me endlessly. Now, when you're 20 years old, she was also 20.
Mm.
When you're 20 years old, you can come if you rub up against a table, right? and so this, when you tease a 20-year-old male to that extent,
You felt it was deliberate. She liked
it was
your
openly
attention.
deliberate.
Yeah.
It was openly deliberate. It was
Damn.
beyond deliberate.
Damn.
And she liked that sort of attention. She was a very damaged girl.
Mm.
I liked that.
Mm.
She wouldn't have been talking to me if she was not damaged.
Fair.
But
And how did it end? Yeah, go ahead.
Didn't end well. No.
She started dating somebody?
She professed to be a virgin.
Mm.
I think this is why this stuck in my craw for so
Okay.
long.
Yeah.
I'd been with one girl before.
Yeah.
She professed to be a virgin. I thought we were going to be. I thought we were going to go all the way.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, she found reason to morally excuse a severe. She became a shrink later.
Okay.
She had a very sharp Slavic, Dasha-like. I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
I'm just picking a modern version of it.
Yeah.
Version of, that is to say, psychological destruction, which you go into in your book quite well, I thought.
Okay.
An angry lady's psychological destruction. Or for fun. I guess they can do it for fun, too.
Mm.
She was doing it for fun. She
Okay.
didn't like my character. I had a morbid character. I haven't had a morbid character, as you know.
Mm. Yeah, I do know.
Some people find that motivation enough to torture me.
Mm.
Now, I wasn't directing the morbidity at her, but for whatever reason, people find a way to be malevolent. And I don't like that.
Yeah, people always find a way, huh?
Save it for the page, I say. I'm nice. I'm really nice.
One time I was at a party. A young lady writer was there. I held aloft the bumper of my car after another young lady, wearing a parking lot attendee vest she probably stole, directed me into too tight a passage, and I don't mean her thigh gap. Part of the vehicle popped free, and here I drank, purring as if this tall shred of metal was my lost beloved. The young lady at the party confessed to being the author of a television commercial that appropriated famous poetry from a century when that was possible. Due to her poor output, I retrospectively regret defending such a petty financial decision when the correct disgust was displayed by others. Asked to repeat a wacky impression for yet a third young lady, freshly arrived, an authoress and future Me Tooer of a famous simp big gal whose father, like daddy, like daughter, was one of the slower Manson family departees before wombs were liberated. Unequivocal guitar strumming, love totin' boomer stoolie. I failed to notice that no goofily trilling mood had prevailed and faced the sneering derision of another major presser of the fairer sex.
Historiographer of alt-wit.
Yeah, I'd like to, yeah, maybe I could write a chronicle.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, go ask Sean Kilpatrick what was going on.
I interviewed Tao Lin in 06.
Wow. Wait, 06?
06. That's before he got very big.
Was he in college still?
Well. What's it?
He was at NYU still?
I think he just got out. He stole a book and sent it to me.
He did?
Yeah. He used to steal a lot. Remember that?
Yeah. He would steal. He would go to the damn NYU bookstore and steal art supplies.
He's a very funny guy. Very hilarious guy.
Yeah.
He sent me Ann Beattie's Distortion. Very good Lishian type line work in that.
Chicago, earlier this century. I stood in the open-air alcove of an apartment complex with Sam Pink and some young lady I lived with. During a conversational lull, pressed against the ensuing silence as my young lady pretended she didn't openly want to fillet Sam Pink, the three of us observed nighttime passers-by. In a well-lit window, another young lady began stacking pillows until we could no longer see inside the room. "Where is she breeding them?" I inquired. "Defenestration stunt woman," Sam Pink insisted. "My young lady went to piss in an alley. The piss below her squat elongated into a stream." We continued, downy Jenga, feathered barricade, the cool side of privacy. A year later, me and that very same gorgeously plump-assed young lady sat with Tao Lin after a reading. I was dressed like a 1950s car salesman for no reason. Tao Lin strongly and lovingly, I thought, recommended against driving home drunk. I argued to the contrary that would have been the best thing for us as a couple. I believe he'd have yanked up a railway to save us. Such was the benevolence of the voice of our generation.
So, wait, what'd you say you're working on now?
Well, I'm working on a movie thing.
Okay.
And a novel. I got a memoir, but I don't know.
Yeah?
It's very absurd. It's not really straightforward. But I had some good ass kickings in my youth that are fun to write about, you know.
Literal ass kickings?
Yeah.
Like what was one?
Detroit style. You know, it's like that World Star shit where they bang your head in the cement type stuff.
No. You had some shit like
that
happen?
That's why I'm all crazy.
Dang.
I got impulse issues.
You got jumped out in Detroit?
Oh yeah, a bunch of times.
Damn.
I got CTE.
You got CTE?
Probably. I don't know. Not diagnosed.
Yeah. Yeah. Can they? I don't know if they can even diagnose that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Did you ever play any sports?
No, I was always like a freak.
You a lanky dude.
Born freak.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't much of anything. I wasn't very good, like tall or short.
Yeah.
I wasn't one or the other, really.
Yeah. But then, so you're just walking home from school and people, what'd you get jumped for? What did people take from you?
There'd be gangs. It wasn't really like a bullying. It was a gang.
Doing a damn, okay. That's terrible.
You were walking on their area.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly understand the logic, but
not even to take anything?
I didn't have much to take, but I think they just enjoyed. Well, they got my bike one time.
They got your bike,
but my bike wasn't very fancy. They threw it away afterward. I found it up the street. After I got up all bloody, I found it up the street.
Damn.
It wasn't about the bike. It was about blood.
Damn.
I was 11.
Damn.
They were older.
Yeah, I got my bike.
Outsized fist.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. But back then, you know, people weren't so fussy about, I don't know, you know, people were outside more. Kids got beat up more.
Yeah.
It seems worse now. I like to talk about it because it seems so intense now, but back then it wasn't even a big deal.
Right.
But it's interesting now how it gives me some kind of street cred anyway, even though I'm retired from those streets.
So you got a memoir going into all your childhood experiences.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, very morbid stuff.
Yeah. You think the coldness of your upbringing, where you grew up, is part of your existential outlook?
That's a good question. You know, I'd say it's more of a, you know, a ghetto is more of a sporadic rage, I'd say. They weren't very clinical about how they went about it.
Right.
There was a lot of roasting of me once I was down.
Yeah.
As in
the result of that.
Yeah, I like roasting. I think it's a very interesting format. And people in the ghetto are very good at that.
Yeah, you interviewed Sam Hyde one time.
Oh, yes. The great Sam Hyde.
The great Sam Hyde.
He was amazing to talk to.
Yeah, he's kind of a crazy dude.
He wrote an amazing book that no one fucking reviewed.
That's right, dude. I saw you mention that.
That's insane to me. He wrote one of the great satirical sci-fi books of our generation. He's my age.
Yeah.
And
wow.
No one talked about it. It's vile to me. It's very vile that no one talked about that book. It's a brilliant book.
I'm trying to get some comedians who also wrote books on the pod.
Oh, nice.
Talk to Sam Talent, but
Sam Talent, right. He wrote a novel, yeah.
Yeah, he went on Rogan instead, but we were talking for a second.
Oh, nice.
I still get him.
Nice.
But yeah, that's crazy.
McDonald wrote a great absurd novel.
He did.
Yeah, I like that one.
Years ago, my old pal Scott McClanahan argued with me via speakerphone about a drunken claim I made that girl urine is of a higher quality than any other urine. Simpy, Coomer-brained, and Pornhubistic, I believe, was his rebuttal, an egregious straw-manning. Quite the wide berth for skirting my actual contention. Contact me immediately, McClanahan, to set up a livestream debate. Challenge issued.
Yeah.
When I was in Catholic school, it was very it was a very different time. The censors were more again, not to get political, the censors were more conservative back then.
Yeah.
And they were particularly bad about that at my school. I had writings of mine torn up in front of me.
That's crazy.
For their content.
Damn.
Admittedly, I was quite morbid, but
you were writing some fucking scary ass poems in high school.
Even back then, in grade school, even.
In grade school.
There were more. My high school was basically a public school. You know, it was very. It wasn't very strict.
Mm.
My grade school was extremely strict, and the nun who did the most psychotic stuff in front of me was sort of. Well, she feels like the inverse of all the censors now.
Okay.
I feel like it flipped all the way around, but she was the inverse of it. Although, at least the conservative will teach you some formal good things, right? She did teach the Kellogg system of sentence diagramming.
Okay.
Which I don't think exists anymore.
There's a Kellogg system, and this is the same Kellogg as the cereal.
No.
Gotcha.
That's a good... No, I don't know if he's related to that guy. It's not the same guy, but he might be related.
Got you. Okay.
It's around that time, though. Around that time.
Yeah.
But it's just the system of the predicate is the line begins with the predicates, and then the first part of the sentence is here, and then it branches down. You've probably seen it somewhere, right?
Right.
But they don't teach it anymore, really. But it was pretty fun. But no, I didn't like it at the time. But in retrospect, it was very informative.
Damn.
But yeah, I'm guilty of being a sentence guy, I suppose.
Yeah, you got some of that Catholic nun with the rules.
The formal ruler upon my wrist. Yeah.
And then who was the other first serial killer? Do you know?
Oh, in Germany, the first mass. Well. There were some mass shootings before that, but the modern sense of mass shooter, I'm tracking to 1913. There were two Germans. The first one, I forget his name, but he was a teacher, and he shot up the students in his class. He was very psychotic as well.
Jesus Christ.
He thought they were Jesuits.
Damn.
I don't know the full lore of the Jesuits, but I think he was sure they were out to get him.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
And that in my mind of the school shooting and the mass shooting, that was the beginning, and it feels like the beginning of the 20th century leading up to Columbine type, thing.
Yeah. Damn.
Sort of like the White Ribbon, the Haneke film.
Okay. Peter Haneke, I don't know that movie.
The white. Wait, am I saying White Ribbon? With the kids in Germany, and it's like you feel the evil of the oncoming century.
Okay. Haneke.
Michael Haneke.
Yeah.
He did Funny Games.
Got you.
Funny Games is very important to me.
What's that one about?
It's about two young men, very 90s in the best way, who enter a family's house and torture and kill them for the entire length of the film. This is my purview.
I'm dead, dude. do you think we have completely opposite aesthetics, or do you think we have similarities?
Well, I'd say my technical aesthetics are opposite to most of the alt-lit refractor sentence.
Right.
But I was never very much accepted by their magazines early on, or ever fully, really. But it wasn't really bad blood, though.
Yeah.
It was more just, it's obviously a very different style.
Yeah.
I was also never accepted by very experimental people either. I didn't fare well in general. But, I like an opposing style,
Yeah.
I don't take it as something to be ideological about.
Yeah.
Many people couldn't say the same, though.
Yeah.
These days, especially.
And then one of your stories is in one of the old tyrants?
Right. I was in a couple of the print tyrants. and then eventually on the online one.
Yeah.
It was about killing people.
I mean, I can't, because part of the problem with the literary world is like, I don't know if, yeah, it's like it creates there's just a greater and greater insulation of the people who are making the decisions about what gets published. And I feel like having an experience or an upbringing that's outside of it, like the likelihood of someone, people from certain upbringings and understanding certain parts of the world crossing over with wanting to be interested in literature and then like wanting to be in that position is like really low.
It's a very corporate feeling to me. It's very, I don't know, it feels like a different culture than what I came into.
Yeah.
Starting in the 2010s, yeah.
But I feel like there's no way that like your upbringing doesn't have to do with your worldview.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Damn. Are you interested in doing readings and stuff or partaking in any community, or do you not give a shit about all that?
Well, I like a reading. I used to when I was young, I used to have an open mic I would host around here.
You did? Nice.
Yeah, I would be very performative. I would have an auction, and the winner would get a dildo. And then I would I brought in a headless rabbit. They used to sell these headless skinned rabbits at the market.
Jeez.
I can't find them anymore. But anyway, I brought it in on a leash.
A headless rabbit on a leash.
Headless rabbit on a leash.
It had enough neck left.
What's it?
It had enough neck left to put a leash on it.
I put it sort of like one of those, what do you call it? Like it's around the waist,
Okay,
those, like,
yeah, like a
baby, almost like people put their babies.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that, it's very fun, very
yeah.
Gen X culture type stuff,
Is there other writers?
I'm codifying it, but Gen X, I just mean that culture was very irreverent back then.
Yeah. There's other writers in your area that you're close with or not?
The Hobart people were around. They sort of moved out of the area as much, but they would have readings, but there wasn't a lot. I knew a buddy of mine I met through the open mic. He was a bit older, a very Gen X guy. He suicided, but yeah, not too much else.
Yeah.
Pretty sparse. But I like doing a reading. I like to perform. I like to get into it. I think it's too stale when people read straight, just like drone it out,
Yeah.
I try to get into it. And I had the training of the open mic to do that.
Get a little crazy with it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm not a great performer, I'd say. I'm not like an actor, but I like to just put a little gusto into it. Right?
Indeed.
And acting is very difficult. It's a whole other thing. I'm not very good at that.
Yeah, damn.
But I can yell a lot.
Yeah. Nice, man. Damn. What were you saying here? You said in this intro, you talking about Ben Metcalf.
His memoir is brilliant, and it was panned by every goddamn review. It was disgusting.
Which one?
Similar to Harold Brodsky.
Yeah.
Harold Brodsky Lish was really a big fan. I think Lish took a lot of cues from Harold Brodsky, or maybe vice versa, maybe back and forth. But
got you.
But Brodsky wrote this giant book called, it's called Runaway Soul, which I don't think is a great title. But his original title was Party of Animals, which I think is a brilliant title. And
nice.
The book is brilliant. It's very elegant. Very high-level, clausal, elegant bricolage of prose.
Damn, bro.
And Ben Metcalf, who was one of the early editors to promote David Foster Wallace and Harper's, was punished for some reason for this beautiful memoir he wrote about growing up in the South.
Yeah, what was it called again?
Against the Country.
Exactly, Against the Country.
And
how was he punished for that?
Well, I say punished, but I just mean it was very, like, no one bought it. It was very tepid reviews, and the reviews were almost illiterate. It was just all this shit about the language is too dense. And that's the party line, etc. For some some mainstream places.
Hmm.
The strunk and white stuff.
Right.
But
The what? Sunken white?
The elements of style, the EB white.
Okay, yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, that's the party line, and they use that on my beloved Ben Matcliffe.
Are you guys cool?
I never talked to him, but
Okay.
I believe he teaches somewhere, and I don't know. He hasn't done anything else since, so it's very depressing to me.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I went to the Columbia Writing Program in 2019.
Is he there?
No, yeah, well, he was, but he called me.
Oh, really?
To say, they call you when you get in.
Oh, yeah. What was that like?
I mean, it was kind of random because I was working on the book with Gian throughout the time there.
Right.
So I was a little bit of like, I don't really care what anyone says.
Yeah.
But it was good. I mean, it was I was, reading aggressively, reading a lot of stuff I didn't like. So
yeah.
Honing my taste.
Yeah. Was Metcalf nice? Or?
Well, Metcalf was there, but I didn't take I was gonna take a class with him. I never took a class with him.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but he was teaching something. Yeah, he was teaching, but I just thought it was.
You ever look up a writer's reviews on that Rate My Professor?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I love this thing, and then I know they're my kind of guy when every student is like, he's mean.
Yeah.
Like, this is my guy.
Yeah. No, he always kind of didn't give a. Although my girlfriend at the time, who passed away, she took a class with him and she liked him.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I just thought it was interesting.
Sort of like tough but fair, right?
Yeah, I think so. But I think I have that book. I gotta read it.
It's really good. I love it.
You're an excavator a little bit. You find things you find things you like and you read them.
Oh yeah, I dig a lot. I've dug back through my lineage of freaks, right?
Yeah. Do you have what's your living situation like? You got a shitload of books?
I go to the library. My library isn't great, but they have the, what do you call the loan, the interlibrary loan, right?
Okay, yeah. So
I get about 30 at a time. They don't like me when they see me coming.
Nice. I've been doing that too. I've been going to the library. It helps me read like all this Dante criticism, and then I have a timeline. I like having a timeline of when you got to read it by.
Nice. Yeah.
Damn.
There's another urban Dante book, and I remember this from when I was young.
Oh yeah.
And I'll send you the information, but
yeah,
it was a book. It came out around 2004, and it has all these illustrations of the Inferno as if it's a city.
Interesting.
And then the language is like Goodfellas. They're like fucking.
Oh. Hey.
They translate it into like Goodfellas language.
Damn.
How about that?
I went to a 2003 Andrei Codrescu reading in Detroit. His magazine, Exquisite Corpse, was one of my early acceptances. I was 20 and quite excited to appear alongside the great Barry Gifford and one of Hunter Thompson's pre-suicide finalities. An old man in the audience slid from his chair and had to be stretchered away. As I approached that old sly Romanian ghoul, he rasped, "You step over the corpse to get to me?"
With that Gen X, again, not to harp on it too much, but it was a very anti-self era.
Okay.
And the more millennial era is a very megalomaniacal pro-self era. Very save the world activist era.
Okay, for sure.
And the Gen X era was a very fuck the world era.
Right. I'm a piece of shit. It ain't hard to fucking tell. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Right.
Yeah. That's kind of how some of my writing is. Yeah.
The save the world itis of the current era.
Right. Save the world itis, indeed.
It skips a generation. It's like a disease. It skips a generation. The boomers were very activist. That's why you see all the great boomer writers wrote, I'll take, well, I guess they weren't boomers, but they were popular during the boomer era. I'd say Ginsberg, Kesey, Ken Kesey.
Ken Kesey.
He wrote the great masterpieces Notion and Cuckoo, and then became an activist. And then, what else did he?
Right.
He disappeared. And same with Ginsberg. Hall is a masterpiece. And then what else? He became a fucking activist.
Right.
And then the Gen X came, and they were reacting against that type of boomeristic shit.
Who's the main Gen X writers?
Bret Easton Ellis.
Yeah, got you.
Very nihilistic.
Yeah.
His podcast is one of the great beacons of our time against this type of censorship.
Yeah.
And, Jay McInerney, who blurred you.
Yeah.
And I'd say on the wilder side, Wenderoth is my favorite.
Wenderoth. And
very Gen X. And by the way, Gen X don't like you to say that you're in a group.
Right.
They don't like that. But I'm just classifying for my own brain. I'm very slow-witted. Okay, I need to classify. But technically they were, and technically there was a sort of vibe of that generation. Okay,
definitely.
Jim Goad, although he would be very angry to be classified as that. But stuff like that.
Yeah, I got you. And then now we're swinging back towards the Save the World itis. But I think that something's happening in the last 4 years.
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah.
Culturally, for instance, I just watched the new Beverly Hills film, for instance.
Okay.
It's silly. Those are silly, fun movies. But the first Beverly Hills Cop, Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
The first two were so wild and mean. The third one's like goofy, but
okay.
The fourth one, I'm talking about this new fourth Beverly Hills Cop film.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of hand-wringing, soft, politically minded undertones to it. It's very subtle, but it's very annoying, and it just feels like a bad sign to me.
But it feels like a bad. It's.
Well, we go from Eddie Murphy seeing Bridget Nielsen in Beverly Hills Cop 2,
right?
And he's saying, "Oh, that's a big bitch."
Yeah.
And then in part 3 or part 4, it's I don't know. It's very different.
People's kind of spidey sense about when there's stuff being folded in is higher now. I think that's why. That's sort of the crisis we're seeing going on, where you can't really fool the people anymore because they went too far. That's how I feel.
One fun podcast visit was followed by a guest who mistook me online for the rejecter of a homosexual advance he made on someone else in person in New York, issuing the smarmiest and most feminine invective imaginable, the helium screech of Twitter herself. Timing the episode to his own private sassy DMs, Rye plausibly denied slander, feigning bewilderment at the subsequent retort he earned. Truman Capote's voice went omnipotent. We're beyond cosmopolitan. I miss Dale Carnegie's AWP, where a blonde inconspicuously told by Brown University that she was a writer foisted me her cigarette and disappeared.
Except the novel Average American Male was a major publication in the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
Very good novel, by the way.
And that had that kind of irreverent.
But it had an irreverent, like, these bitches, I'm going to fuck these bitches, right? Now, I understand it's a bit rich. I was never one of those guys, really. I like to talk like that, but I was never really. In my 20s, I was a very sensitive little faggot. Okay.
Yeah.
But my point being that the bro, the frats. They called it frat back then. Yeah?
Right.
The frat culture.
Right.
Had a backlash, perhaps, of everything is now rape.
Right.
Which is the other end of the spectrum. They both are annoying to me.
Yeah.
So, I could say let them eat each other alive.
Right. Then you got fuckboy, which is like, I think these things sometimes, but I'm also like, oh, is this all right?
Well, I don't blame you. If you want to not destroy your entire possibility of publication, you have to address some of these things.
Yeah.
And not in the way I do. I address them in a very nasty way. I don't recommend it. But what I'm saying is...
We still got Welbeck. We still got Welbeck globally, because a lot of this is America, too. How do you feel about Welbeck?
I like Welbeck. It's very plain. It's a little... I wish it was even more. I wish it was way darker and way more fucked up. And
probably sentence-wise not so interesting to you.
Not my main mode, but very good, though. Very good. And I'm glad he's popular.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
He's good, though. He's very good.
Yeah, he's good. Interesting. All right. Do you think that do you believe that in hexes, curses, magic of any sort?
Oh, in a literal sense?
I don't know. This
well,
in any sense.
Well, I said this before, but I'll say when I was a young man, again, hard to believe, but that is to say, Galway Cannell wrote a book called The Book of Nightmares.
Okay.
This book has a certain cult reverence for me. When I forget the name of the poem at the moment, it's a very long title, but in the year 2009, I was reading this book before I went into my job.
Okay.
As I was reading the book, this book is written in the 70s.
Yeah.
As I'm reading this book, there's a line that goes, in the year 2009.
Whoa.
On some terrible Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
Whoa.
It was 2009.
Whoa.
You will be walking through a field. I was in a field.
What the fuck, dude?
I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
You will see black rocks below you. There were black rocks below me. I didn't plan, none of this was planned out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that means something.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but I have very agnostic views generally, perhaps, but there's something to it. There's something to it. I'd like to believe more or see something more. I'm a very cold customer, but I like the idea. I think, when I used to talk to the ladies more, when I talked to the ladies more often back then, I feel like they were closer to feeling that. Their mystical, sexy qualities.
Yeah, sometimes, a romantic entanglement can make you feel like there's some...
Well, that too, but I also mean just women are closer to some kind of mystical understanding, right? But that's general. But because I feel, I feel very skeptical. But that the Cannell experience leads me to believe there's maybe something going on.
What did you? How was your physical? You started tingling. What did you feel when you were reading that?
I was just like, Jesus Christ! I was like. Well, I took it more as like literature is pure God.
Right.
Literature is goddamn amazing.
Right.
He tapped into my fucking brain for.
A few months ago, during one of the limited occasions in which I've approached a semblance of eloquence, blithering my primetime live speech tries on a podcast occurred for 3 hours straight, in the form of my host's woke, Nardwar-flavored Adderall lisp of an inquisition in which some incredible truce of opposing viewpoints was achieved when this lad stated he had read 0 of the originators of his very same extreme viewpoints and, after drilling me for having had the privilege of working with Blake Butler, making quite the Inquirer-level exploit of Butler's latest work, I still felt that despite this, he and I reached a rare take. Amicable amnesty, benefit of the doubt mutually given, respectful conflict, great radio? Then I was ignored and informed upon inquest that the episode had been mysteriously lost, that further contact was contingent on my delivering him Butler for a recording. Left unread. What rings like a weasel nosing through its own styrofoam miscarriage has become the sum of my faculties. Once at a gathering, Steve Rogenbuck gave me one of his little hugs, despite my boner. Unprovoked. Unprovoked is the operative word here. I was never done soon enough.
What about Volman? Do you like William T. Volman?
Yeah, I like, I've only read Whores for Gloria, but
Okay. Yeah.
I like his odd, demeanor.
His odd demeanor, indeed. Yeah, you got some Volman energy in you.
Yeah, yeah. He was in that car with his friend was sniped, right?
Is that right?
He was doing war reporting, and his friend got sniped through the windshield.
Like Trump.
And he had to lay in the car with the corpse for like a long time. I think you can feel that in his work,
Yeah, no, it is some that changes when you see somebody die right in front of you.